You have a piano piece. You want the orchestra version. How to make it happen? Let's learn from the master, Ravel. Hello everybody, my name is Yang Yang. I'm a composer and a learning strategist who loves patterns and loves turning patterns into tools. We have finally arrived at the climax in this episode. When I first studied this section, I thought, there's nothing new here, just octave doubling, everybody playing, loud, climax. But the second time through, I started to hear and see it differently. Within this wall of sound, Ravel has crafted layers deliberately. Let's take a look. Rehearsal mark 17. First, bass note. We already know this treatment well. A long sustained tone accented by pizzicato in the strings. Here, the sustained note is played by the second bassoon and fourth horn, while the double basses add the pizzicato attack. Octave gesture, also familiar by now. In the piano, those octave notes are played together. In the orchestra, Ravel staggers their entrances, creating a sequence of octave leaps. The lower octave goes to the cello's upper divisi, doubled by the first bassoon. The higher octave goes to the second violins, doubled by the first clarinet. The rest of the notes. First chord, Ravel fills out the harmony through octave doubling. The top group is played by the first violins in divisi, doubled by two flutes and the first oboe. The middle group, viola divisi, doubled by the second oboe, second clarinet, and English horn. The bottom, three French horns. And notice, Ravel reinforces the melody further with the cello's lower divisi. From the previous episodes, we know that doubling the melody at the octave strengthens it, especially when that melody note is at the bottom of the harmony group paired with the lead on top. It feels like the supporting harmony in the middle being wrapped and tightened, and the voicing would sound fuller. We have horns here cover the middle range, so why does Ravel double the melody note here in the middle, instead of here at the bottom? I'll come back to it later. Let's take a look at the second chord first. To keep three independent voices, a B flat from the piano's left hand is added, and it's doubled at octaves. The orchestration is the same, except that the horns shift the bottom note B flat up an octave. It creates a beautiful contrary motion between the strings and the horns. And you might ask, okay, contrary motion, so what? Let's compare these two options. Option 1. Horns keep the original chord shape, moving in the same direction as the strings and woodwinds. Listen, the strings. The horns. Together. As you can hear, the whole thing is a wall of sound. You can also hear a downward direction from the first chord to the second. Option 2, Ravel's choice. Strings, horns, together. Now the sound has two layers. The string layer moves down and the horn layer moves up. We are able to perceive these two layers in contrary motion because of the timbre difference between the horns and the strings. As a result, the horns are no longer just a harmonic filler that blends in and fills the space. More importantly, they create an additional layer, a harmonized counter melody of their own. This expands our orchestration choices in the situation where everybody is playing together. It doesn't have to be one single plane. It could have layers. If we want layers, the tool that Ravel gives us here is contrary motion between groups with distinct timbral colors. And that also answers my earlier question. Why do the cellos double the melody here instead of at the bottom? Because Ravel is not planning the ensemble as one single plane, he's thinking in layers. The cellos here are responsible for strengthening the melody of the string layer. Also, doesn't this shape look familiar? Look at the harp at rehearsal mark 14. Not only are the chord shapes similar, they also share the similarity in dynamics. In the harp, the accent on the first chord exaggerates the expanding and contracting effect. Here, the ensemble uses a decrescendo hairpin, the same expanding and contracting. Coincidence? I don't think so. Last four measures of the section. The strings simply take the piano notes. The melody is played by violas. Once again, Ravel uses the tools of tying repeated notes into a single long tone and the voice leading. High F in the first trumpet, low F in the cello's upper divisi. D flat resolving to C in the second trumpet. A resolving to A flat in the first horn, and E flat resolving to D in the second violins. Finally, the bass line is carried by the lower cellos in arco. The double basses play pizzicato, adding depth. And that concludes rehearsal mark 17. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode, where I will connect all the sections and do some comparative studies.